I used a 50mm lens for 365 days and it changed my photography. My name is Evan Olbrecht. I'm a professional surf and lifestyle photographer here in San Diego. I've been shooting photography for over 9 years now, and I'm gonna tell you what I've learned using one lens for a year and how it's truly transformed my photography now that I've opened myself back up to using different lenses for everything that I'm doing. So first off, why I picked the 50mm f1.8. First off, easy reason is because it was cheap. So back in college, I was looking for a lens that worked for surf photography, sports photography with indoor lighting that was pretty bad lighting in a gym, and then also for kind of a portrait lifestyle all-around lens. The nifty 50mm f1.8 kind of stood out because it was like, well, you can kind of use it for everything. So I bought it. It was, I think I got it on sale for like $150, which was insane. And I did not take it off my camera for a year, mostly because I didn't have another lens, but also because I wanted to test myself and see what I can do with that lens. So that was really kind of the first test that I've done with lenses before. And it truly changed what I thought of as my photography, because before I used a lot of a wide angle lens for my surf photography. And then I had a 1 to 400mm lens that I actually took from my dad's camera, and then I bought an adapter for it because his was the EF mount and mine was the RF. So I was using that as well for sports photography, but I thought I should try to do this. And I wasn't doing any kind of long range photography at that time. So I didn't do any soccer, baseball, things like that, where you really need a long lens to actually be able to shoot. But for surf photography and things like that, I was in the water anyway. So I was like, okay, how can I use this lens? And then also for basketball, it's indoors, super bad lighting. So actually the f1.8 worked pretty well for that. And then for lifestyle portraits, obviously the 50 nifty works pretty well. So that's kind of why I picked this lens. But I also kind of set a rule that whenever I pick up the camera, this is the lens that I'm using. I'm not using anything else. I'm not going to go buy another lens. I'm not going to test any other lenses. Just this one to see what I can do with my photography, because I felt pretty stuck in what I was doing. I thought, well, I've been shooting photography for a while now. You know, my photos aren't anything crazy and I'm not sure why. So I was like, okay, I'm going to set myself a challenge for this. I saw a few videos on it. But yeah, that's really where this all came from. And first off, what kind of happened when I started this was the first couple months, there was a lot of frustration, but also kind of growth within that, because I was also like, well, now I feel even more stuck because now all of my photos kind of look the same. And then I thought, well, how can I actually get out of this kind of box that I set for myself? It was like a little box and I was like inside of it just stuck. And I was like, well, all of my photos look the same. I feel like I'm not doing anything cool or creative with anything that I'm working on right now with any client work. I was the school photographer doing indoor stuff for like basketball, volleyball, things like that. And just having this lens really makes me kind of reach outside of my comfort zone and say, okay, I have like a nice camera. I'm using a nice lens, like the Nifty 50 is a nice lens. How can I use this to the best possible ability without sacrificing actual quality? Which I know the image quality is good, like it's a good lens, a good camera, but how can I actually reach outside and say, okay, I'm gonna do something different with this lens? So that's kind of where this whole thing started. And it really helped me because I had to move my feet more, think faster, think about how I'm composing the shot with that composition, was saying, hey, you know, maybe instead of having the basketball player on this side, I'm gonna put him on the bottom of the frame and he's shooting it, so I'm gonna have the ball up here with a net. And like just thinking about photos totally different, because you can't just zoom in and out, where it's so different having a 24-70 where I'd basically just be standing there and like zoom in, zoom out, and then like take a photo, zoom in, zoom out. And it's like, you don't have to move your feet. You don't have to do as much. Where actually having a prime lens on there, you have to move towards the subject, move away from the subject. And it really makes you think about your shot differently, which I really liked from that. And really what changed in this is that composition and movement was the biggest thing that I saw. And that's really what I was struggling with, because my composition at first was a lot of shots where the subject was right in the middle of the photo. And I talked to some teachers, things like that. And I said, you know, what can I do here? And even some people from jobs that I was looking for at, you know, golf companies, sports companies, working for professional sports teams, I said, hey, look at my portfolio. What can I do? Every single person said, your photos, all of the same composition. So that was kind of a big thing that I wanted to change. And right away, I started to focus on that. From when I was editing, I literally had a sticky note on my computer that said, look at composition. That doesn't have to be like having some weird shot where, someone's like half in the frame, half not. Like, you still apply the rules of photography, but also how can I make a unique image using a different composition than just having the person centered in the photo? Use leading lines, use different things to change your photo up. So that was the biggest thing that I noticed from that. Especially in surf photography, I was in the water swimming around. So shooting closer, shooting further, seeing what I can do from that, trying landscape shots with a 50 mil, just trying to like be behind a bush to kind of open it up, give a different perspective, shooting under a tree, like through a tree, through some leaves, or just having a super open, empty beach and then having nice waves. Like, there's so many things that you think about differently when you actually have to move and put yourself in those different spots. So that was the biggest thing for me, but I also wrote down some things that I learned here. So first off, limitation breeds creativity, consistency matters, vision over gear, and then a gear mindset reset. So what all this means, I felt like I was so limited because I was just stuck in a box before, and then when I actually limited myself to one lens, I felt like I had to be more creative. So that's really where that growth came in. And then for that consistency matters, shooting as much as possible. At this period, I was shooting almost every day. And I mean, my whole portfolio changed by the end of this, and I was using only the same lens. So it's just crazy to think if you shoot every day, your photos are gonna get better every day. That's not saying that every photo you take is gonna be in your portfolio, because it's not going to be, just what doesn't make sense, but just trying new things. Maybe you do a shoot, it doesn't work. Maybe you do 10 shoots, 6 of them work. Then you keep building on that. Say, okay, I really like this style I did. How can I build on that? How can I edit better than the last time? Working on all of that goes into this as well. And also, part of the editing is that it actually changed my photography as well using the same lens, because I had to edit different as well, looking at that composition, thinking about leading lines, different like the horizon here, but maybe the subject was here, so I wanted the photo to move this way because this is where the subject was moving, so I had to use a leading line that was going this way instead of up, and just things like that. Like, just thinking about photos differently is really the key to that. And then vision over gear, actually planning out your shots and saying, hey, this is where I want to go. This is my thinking for the shot. So this is what I'm going to try to execute. Where a lot of people, when they have a zoom lens, say, okay, I want it like pretty tight, so I kind of just zoom in and like that looks good. We're actually thinking about your shot before, having a vision of what you're trying to do. And then overall, the gear mindset reset, where it's actually just saying, okay, I'm not even going to think about gear right now. I'm just going to think about what I can do with that shot and what I have on my camera, which was so important to me and really changed everything that I've done with photography. And the fifth thing is, now that I'm expanding my gear, my vision has gotten a lot better and my execution has gotten so much better as well, because now I'm saying, well, before the shoot, this is really what I'm planning on doing. And then I'm able to execute it even better because now I have those extra lenses, that extra gear to be able to get that done exactly how I want it to be. And then also, I still employ that mindset of, okay, how can I use these lenses differently? What can I do? Like, kind of using that vision from the Nifty 50 challenge I did, where it's like, hey, I need to expand out of this kind of box with this different thing that I'm trying to focus on. So if I'm focusing on maybe where the subject is in the photo, that's what I'm still doing, and I'm still kind of learning that here. So that's really the key to that, is continue your learning into also after you do this, and learn from what you've done. And that's really the whole thing about photography, is just learning as much as possible, continuing to test new ideas and see what works. But there's so many things where, a new lens comes out, you're like, I need this lens, it's gonna change my photography. And then realistically, you probably never use it. Like, I have a 24-70 on here now, and I use this lens 90% of the time, if not more. Like, I don't even know. I got a 70-200, use that sometimes for sports, but realistically, I've only used it a few times since I got it. So just using those lenses in the right way and not limiting yourself by having too much gear. So sixth thing and last thing is, if you wanna try that 50mm challenge, really any challenge with a prime lens, I would highly recommend this. This totally changed my photography. I'd recommend doing it for at least a month to like 2 to 3 months, but I did it for a year, which was obviously a long time. And if you're doing a lot of client work, you probably might not be able to do that. But if you have a break between client work and you can do that for around a month to 2 months, would highly recommend it, and shoot as much as possible during this time period and give yourself challenges, have other people see your photos, and just kind of learn off each other. I think that's so important, is just continual growth as a photographer, as someone making content. So thank you for watching. Let me know if you've tried this challenge before, or if you're interested in trying it. I would love to hear your thoughts on that. Hit the like button, share this video, really helps me out, and subscribe for more videos like this, and see you next video.